You can make a lot of mistakes in the gym, but there are some that will just make sure that you will never get anywhere. The first mistake is the one that still baffles me to this day, because I don't know if some people just can't connect the dots or what, but you need to eat at least something before your workout. Imagine that you meet your friend in the gym at 3 p.m. and he tells you, "Man, I'm not really feeling that strong today." And when you ask him when was the last time he had a meal, he answers with, "I don't know, I had breakfast at 8 am I guess." If you got at least a little bit of common sense, you probably see where the issue is. If you don't give your body any fuel before the workout, you can expect it to perform well. Just a relatively small meal with some good amount of protein and carbs, roughly like an hour or two before the workout, can make a day and night difference. Even if you are on the go constantly, just eating something as simple as a banana before a workout can make a massive difference. Because when you realize that every extra rep that you are able to do directly contributes to you getting bigger, you will not want to miss out on your pre-workout meal, because you now know how big of a difference it actually makes. The next gym mistake is something that really erases all the chances of you reaching your full muscle building potential. If you have been watching this channel for a bit, you know that the basic exercises are the most important and the most impactful. But there is this trend, if I can call it that, where people almost exclusively rely on machines. Sure, if you are an older individual or if you are trying to work around some health issues, I can see it. But if you are a healthy individual, you are cutting yourself short by only working out with machines. And I get it, machines can be a great addition to a workout. But the key word here is addition, not foundation. The foundation needs to be built on the basic exercises. That's how you actually achieve a super impressive physique. So for example, you do your horizontal and incline bench press as a foundation. And only then you can add something like a pec deck. You know, as an addition to a pre-existing foundation. Because doing something like 3 sets of pec deck and 3 sets of cable fly is not a proper chest foundation. You are just fooling around, and you best believe that you will get rewarded with no gains. Which segues perfectly into the next mistake. As you just saw, each body part has a certain set of movement patterns that create the foundation, which allows you to build as much muscle as possible. But because a lot of people are completely unaware of this concept, they unfortunately completely sabotage themselves. Understanding and knowing all the movement patterns for all the body parts is something that everyone who wants to build muscle should know. This is like when you learn how to read and count when you are a new human, and when you are a new bodybuilder, you need to learn all the movement patterns. This is why I created the simplified cheat sheet, which not only shows you all the movement patterns, but also all the example exercises, rep ranges, and the amount of sets per week. You can get it for absolutely free by clicking the first link in the description of the video. Now let's continue with the next mistake. If you are already more experienced and you have been working out for years, but in that entire time you use the same exact training plan, there might have been one thought in particular that crossed your mind. And that is, wow, it really feels like the plan that worked so well for me before doesn't really hit the same anymore. And that is not just your feeling. Your plan simply needs to change over time, at least a little bit. Because your body simply gets used to the workout you are putting it through, and it stops being as effective as before. But I don't want you to stress about this too much, especially if you are still relatively new. Because if you are more on the beginner side of things, you could do the same exact plan for even a year without any changes, and you would still be fine. But if you are more experienced, small tweaks in exercise selection can make a massive difference. And not only a difference in the amount of muscle that you will build, but it will also be way more fun than the same old exercise you have been hammering for the last 2 years. The changes can really be super small. For example, if you have been doing the lat pull down for as long as you can remember, switch to pull-ups now, and you will see the difference immediately. You might even get sore the next day, simply because your body is not used to this exercise. The next mistake is something that everyone who wants to build muscle should do and know. It's a really simple habit that you want to implement and do for the rest of your life. Every time you do a unilateral exercise, which means that you use one hand or leg at a time, you always need to start your sets with your weaker side and not your stronger side. This will prevent any muscle imbalances from developing in the future and fixing the ones you might already have. And now for one of the most crucial mistakes, and that is your technique just being terrible. And hold on before you do a big sigh and close the video. I know that 99% of people are aware of this, but the craziest part is that even if you are aware of this, your technique probably sucks anyway, but you just don't know it yet. I can almost guarantee you that you are doing wrong at least one exercise that is in your routine. And if not straight up wrong, there might be some slight fixes that you should focus on. Remember, there is always room for an improvement. I highly recommend that you dedicate one workout to filming one set of each exercise in your routine, because the things that you will be able to find will absolutely blow your mind. Aside from spotting bad technique, you can also spot some bad habits that you got used to over time. Like for example, if you take a video of yourself when you do pull-ups and then you watch it back and you find out that you are really crooked to one side. Catching something like that early can be super impactful. So even if you think your form is flawless, please check up on it every so often. You will not lose anything by doing that. You can only gain. And speaking of gaining, you probably know how important protein is for building muscle. But there are still a bunch of critical mistakes that people are making when it comes to something as basic and as simple as protein. First, we gotta tackle something that almost everyone is afraid of, and that is the mythical anabolic window, which, if you don't know, means that right after you finish a workout, you need to immediately get in some protein, ideally a protein shake right in the locker room, otherwise your gains will vanish. Which, let me tell you, that is just absolute BS. But you know how it is. There is a pinch of truth in every myth. So you should definitely get in some protein after your workout, because not doing so is a crucial mistake that will indeed completely crush your ability to build muscle. But it doesn't need to turn into a protein speedrun. If you had a pre-workout meal with a good amount of protein, you have plenty of time after your workout to get in some protein. You easily got at least 1 to 2 hours, and if you really had a good amount of protein before the workout, it could even be 3 hours after your workout. Simply because the protein from the pre-workout meal is still in your system, even after your workout. The protein didn't just magically disappear. Your body still has all the tools it needs to build muscle after your workout, and you can refeed your body with protein without a problem even after a couple of hours after the workout. So don't forget about your post-workout meal, but remember, no need to make it into a race. The other crucial mistake with protein that a lot of people make is in the calculation process itself, which then complicates your entire routine so much more. When you hear the formula 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, you need to realize that the body weight is referring to lean body mass, not your regular weight when you step on a scale. Sure, you can use your regular weight for this calculation if you are relatively skinny, but the issue becomes absolutely massive if you try to use this formula when you are overweight. You know, if you are 400 pounds, you don't need to eat 400 grams of protein. Even Ronnie Coleman didn't eat that much protein. Just calculate your lean body mass on any of the calculators online and then use that number. Just make sure that when you are calculating that number, you use the correct units. I'm telling you this because I have seen way too many people put in their weight in kgs when the calculator was selected for pounds. And you best believe that that will not give you the correct number. So make sure that you double check it before you calculate. That is the most accurate way of calculating the perfect protein amount for you. And most importantly, you will not have to spend $10 million on trying to eat such an insane amount of protein each day. And maybe you can take that money that you save and grab one of my training or nutrition plans. Or if you want to go on a complete transformation journey, you can grab the beginner or advanced bundle based on your experience level. No matter which bundle you choose, you will get a training plan, a nutrition plan, and a cardio plan, which will take your hand and take you to your dream physique in the simplest way possible. You can check out everything by clicking the first link in the description. Thanks for watching, I hope you learned something. Good luck in the gym, and I will see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, then I'm sure you will enjoy this one too.